In this video, we're going to talk about a couple things, a couple critiques I have with the way Jocko describes detachment and in a leadership sense. I'm Matt Dixon, fractional CTO. I've been in this industry for a quarter of a century, and leadership is a very critical piece of being a CTO. I need to help influence people. I don't need to be in control of people. If I influence them, I can help them see the vision. I can help them know what needs to be done, and I can help them do their best work. This was a great video. I'll have a link in the description. Take a look at these clips and comment. Tell me what you think. Okay, by way of overview, this video is about how when you take a step back and take a look at things look a lot different. So to preface this clip, they were in a training exercise and everyone was looking down their rifles. So when you're looking down your rifle, you can only see what's right in front of you. So let me play this little clip and then we'll go over what he's talking about.
Well, when I take a step back and look to my left and look to my right, guess what kind of field of vision I got? I got a massive one. I can see the whole scene. And I can see exactly what it is we need to do.
Okay, so that act of stepping back, that's what he's calling disengagement. That's a great tactic to have. And when we take a step back, when we're in the weeds, we kind of take a step back, we look at the big picture, it all of a sudden becomes clearer what we need to work on. It's hard, though, when you're in the weeds. That's the hard part. Also, another thing, detachment. The word detachment in his context makes a whole lot of sense. But in normal, like that's a military term. You detach, right? But in normal life, without the military training that he's had, a lot of people will look at that like you're fully removing yourself from the project, from the team, from something else. But that's not what he's saying. But if you were to do that, if you were to remove yourself completely, that would really be a bad thing. You wouldn't be a very good leader if you are fully detached from your team. Okay, as a CTO, sometimes I need to take a step back even from where I am. A lot of times, if we get in a heated discussion, just take a step back, detach from what's being said. Don't take it personally. Look at it and analyze it. Turn your engineer brain on, but turn off your mouth. Okay, here's a second clip here. This is along those same lines.
Detach from those emotions that you're having and make some space. And that's how I go through the mechanics of detachment.
Okay, make some space. That's a great phrase. You want to make some space between your emotions and what's happening. And we're all emotional. Even engineers are emotional. Every action comes from an emotion, then a thought, then a decision, then an action. So everything's based off of emotion. The engineers that I've worked with and myself personally, that emotion part is very, very slim, very narrow. Sometimes it doesn't even register, but it is still emotion. So when you can take a step back and then you can take a look and say, all right, this is what I need to do. And there's the mechanics. So one thing he doesn't get right is the word detachment. I'm really hyper-focused on that because that's some people's coping mechanism is to detach completely. But making space is key to any big decision, even just a small decision in a big moment. All right, here's another one.
Me putting my chin down and putting my hands like up to where I can put them in your face a little bit. No, I'm actually going to take a step back. I'm going to say, put my chin up. Changes my perspective a little bit more, changes my visual perspective, just by changing the angle of my head. Take a step back, put my hands down. I'm not being in a defensive mode. I actually want to hear what you have to say. And if I start listening to what you have to say and not talking, it's very hard to be detached when you're talking. It's another key component. You want to detach? Shut your mouth. So I'm in meetings, I'm in a bunch of different companies. I own a bunch of different companies. I'm in a meeting in my companies. I'm not the one that's doing all the talking. In fact, I'm doing mostly listening.
As a young engineer running up through the ranks of software development, I loved being the smartest person in the room. I know. I was one of those guys at one point. But now I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I want to have all these smart people with all this experience that I don't have so that they can do what they do best and I can do what I do best. I have a good vision for what needs to happen. They have good specifics for their narrow focus, like they have their sights down the barrel. They know exactly how to do, say, CI/CD or implement XYZ technology or whatever. I don't need to know to their level. I need to have a broad range of knowledge, but let the experts do the expert work. Okay, one critique still about detachment. it can come across as being aloof or not caring. And, I know that's not what he's trying to say, but it kind of can come across that way if we don't implement what he proposes effectively. Being a leader is difficult. Sometimes you have to have difficult conversations. And during those difficult conversations, how you react to other people's frustration, anger, emotion in any way can really, really set the stage of how you are as a leader. It's not easy. All right, next one. Last one. Here we go.
It's very hard to be detached when you're talking. It's another key component. You want to detach? Shut your mouth.
So that was the same clip, just a little subset of it. We've heard the old phrase, you have 2 ears for a reason and 1 mouth. So you can do twice as much listening as talking. An interesting thing is when I go through some of my notes, it'll have the AI note takers will say who spoke what percentage. If it's 2 people, I'm typically around 40 to 50% but sometimes even less. It depends on the other type of conversation. You need to give as much as you receive. You need to receive as much as you give. And that collaboration is what builds a healthy relationship. Not, I know everything, you need to do it my way. Instead of that, it's, you know something I don't know. Let me learn from you. And that's where powerful leadership comes into play. Jocko Willink, he's a smart guy, and he's written several books about leadership. If you don't have them, haven't read them, I highly recommend them. And it's really good to learn from others who have gone before. Try to take a look at what they've done and how I can implement what they've done. Try to learn from them. Someone who's fairly intelligent learns from their mistakes. Someone who's very wise learns from other people's mistakes. Just to recap, that video was great. A couple critiques, but just from my perspective, because I don't have his military training. Detachment and being able to emotionally detach yourself from a situation is a huge superpower for any executive or leader. Anyone in a leadership role, particularly. You have to use that with some balance, and you need to make sure you don't fully detach from your team or the project or your client. What did I miss? What are your thoughts? Share a comment, and feel free to like or share the video. And if you want to book a call with me, I'd love to help you out. There's a link in the description, and I'll see you again next time.